Welcome to this tutorial, which will demonstrate how a trust can use the flexibility of the Department for Education's chart of account code structure to add their own local account codes and adapt it to their own business needs. You may also wish to consider the alternatives to setting up new account codes, and instead make effective use of flags, funds, cost centers, and analysis codes. Discuss with your FMS software supplier in the first instance any changes that you wish to make. It should be noted that adding additional account codes to the chart of accounts applies only to those trusts who have, or are planning to, embed the DFE's chart of accounts into their own general ledger, but not for those trusts who are mapping their own chart of accounts via their FMS supplies software. To demonstrate adding a code, we'll look at the Academy's chart of accounts workbook. And go to the COA Structure and Mappings tab. We'll firstly look at a simple example which applies to all account codes other than staff costs. For example, as a trust, I want to set up a specific account code for educational photocopying. First, I'll filter by Level 1 description for supplies and services cost. Next, I'll filter by Level 2 description to find educational supplies. This is because this is a direct cost, as denoted by the AR category in column G. Under Level 3 description, I can see here that there is no account code for educational photocopying. In this instance, the best fit for this expenditure item is 810200, Curriculum Materials. As my trust wants to report this cost separately, I'm able to set up an account code 810201 for educational photocopying. This will be on my general ledger for my trust's own business needs. I could also use codes 810202 to 810209 for other curriculum materials. Please note that any local account codes set up by the trusts in this way will be rolled up to the DFE's chart of accounts code for the purposes of automated input into the accounts return. In other words, educational photocopying totals will become part of curriculum materials under 810200. A more complex example is if we wanted to set up additional staff costs account codes. For example, my trust wants to set up wraparound staff to be reported on their own separate account code. Firstly, I'll filter on Level 1 description for staff costs. In the Level 2 description, I'll put community facility staff as they're classed as support costs. For staff costs here, the trust would need to set up 4 new account codes as follows. As you can see, the 4 different categories have been copied, and each local account code corresponds to the correct chart of accounts code. This is to ensure that elements of pay, such as national insurance and pension contributions, are not automatically incorporated into the main wages and salary band, as any local account codes set up by the trust will be rolled up to the DFE's chart of account code for the purposes of automated input into the accounts return. Therefore, 645101, wraparound staff wages and salaries, will become part of 645100. 645151, wraparound staff overtime, will become part of 645150. We suggest that trusts plan out the additional account codes they may wish to use so that numbering stays consistent, and take note of the annual updates to the DFE's chart of accounts, which is published in the spring. This concludes this guidance video on adding chart of accounts codes. Thank you for watching.